Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new RSL show. I am one of your hosts / producer, Andy Munoz, and I'm here with...
You got Josh Clark.
And Mitch.
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. You know?
Yeah?
3 points in the bag. Good weekend. Happy guy.
You took the win to heart, dude. You even got a haircut like...
Albert.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say you look like a cop, dude. You look like...
No, I don't.
Yeah, you
Get out of here.
Definitely more. Here. Mitch, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah?
Had a good weekend, yeah. Went to Costco this weekend, bought a new TV, watched the RSL game on it.
Dang.
Ooh, how many inches?
65.
Wow.
Attaboy.
Mitch moves away to Portland and gets into some big-time money, huh?
No, not really, no.
That's why he went to Costco, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, they have like an infinite return policy there.
I know.
Oh, yeah, forever.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Cool, guys. Well, we're not going to bore you with our personal lives. Let's go ahead and start talking about the return of Prince Albert.
No, you can't say that.
Let's talk about...
I mean, you can. If you
Well,
can.
no, I was just saying because you called him a prince last episode. Let's talk about the return of the coveted old former captain of Real Salt Lake, Albert Rusnák. Guys, we knew this, and we knew exactly what was going to happen. I think the majority of the fan base knew what was going to happen. The front office, there was maybe a little bit of a disconnect there, but it didn't surprise me one bit. Josh and I were at the match. Mitch, you were watching from TV. I kind of want to start with our experience. Josh, were you surprised at all, dude, that Albert Rusnák just got booed every single possession?
No, I mean, did I not say that was going to happen, right? Like, it was no surprise.
Yeah. I mean, it was the inevitable, and I think that, like I kind of said on the last podcast, if you're, well, let's kind of go back a little bit. If you have a relationship with the players, which undoubtedly a lot of members of the front office do, because, yeah, you worked with that guy for 5 years, maybe in the moment it seems like a good idea, and I get that you're trying to be the bigger person here, and I know some fans were for that, but like I said, the casual fan, the person buying the tickets, the person in the stands who literally only tunes in when there's a match, maybe watches a few things on Twitter, Instagram, post, presser releases, whatever, they're not going to have that same connection to Albert Rusnák. They're going to love him when he's here, but the minute that he leaves and the minute that he says, hey, I'm going to go play for one of the biggest teams and one of the
brightest lights,
the best fans in MLS, I don't get how, people connected to the club couldn't see this coming. And, there's more that I want to touch on, especially about the article that our very good friend, and I mean, we can call him a colleague at this point, Tom Hackett put out, for KSL Sports. We'll dig into that, but let's kind of get your guys' reaction. Mitch, dude, I mean, did you were really passionate about this. You likened it to, clubs in Holland, in the Netherlands, rivalries, player switching. You mentioned Man City, Man United, Tevez. I mean, you hit it on the nail. And are you one bit surprised?
No, not at all. It's exactly how it should have gone. The only thing that would have been different if Albert actually left and was like, hey, I really love the fan base, but no contract extension. They're not doing this for me, so I got to find something else. Okay, then it's different. But when you go to a new team, because your current team is not going to give you the contract that you want, because that's the debate too, right? Like, some people are saying, like, oh, he got a contract offer and left.
Yeah, I'll clear that up. There was no contract offer made to Albert Rusnák. None. But that was in part to
the demands,
things
right?
he was requesting that didn't make sense for the team to be the team carrying on. It didn't make sense to build the squad around Albert, right? And so we went our separate way, and that's totally fine, and I totally accept that.
But it's just the way he went about it. As soon as he lands in Seattle, it's all about, the best fans in MLS.
Yep.
And I did do a little research. When Albert played in the Netherlands, you can ask people there. Nobody knows who he is. Like, he didn't make that much of an impression. He scored a winning goal in a little tournament in Holland once for Groningen, and that's it. But not many people really remember him as a great player. So
Mitch, what would you say? So I listened to The Drive with Spence Checketts today, and they had Justin Meram on.
Yeah.
And, he asked Meram what he thought about it, and Meram wasn't a fan. He actually thinks it was disrespectful, basically, by... Those aren't his exact words, but that's how I took it. By the RSL fans to boo him, and that he didn't think he deserved it. He did what was best for his family, etc., etc.
No,
I understand that you're friends with him, though. Right? Like, Justin, you're friends with him. Like, you have to look at it from a fan's perspective, right?
Exactly.
Like, what would you say to Justin at that?
First of all, if Justin is talking about it and addressing it, it must have bugged Albert a little bit.
Oh,
there must have been
There
must have been some group text going on, like, "Hey, what's going on? Why do nobody like me?" But yeah, like player, different relationship. Like if me and Andy happened to work at Channel 2 and then he went to KSL, I would still be Andy's friend. Like, it's not, that is different, right? You're just going from one company to another company. But for a fan, you're going from, a club that you love. It's like an ex-girlfriend.
Right.
It's pretty much like an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
She leaves, you're done. Like, there's not many people that are friends with their ex-girlfriends.
Right.
And if you are, you're kind of weird.
A little bit.
Or maybe you're more mature. And that's one thing that
too.
I will say, too, is there were some fans that were calling out other fans, like, how could you boo Albert? You guys are POSs. Like, we're not showing any class. We're not doing the right thing here. But, somebody mentioned free will, and it's like, yeah, like
100%.
We're all at the end of the day, we're all Real Salt Lake fans. Whether you boo or you cheer Albert, the decision is up to you. I don't think there's a collective agreement that we all have to abide by, and I don't think that anybody should feel bad for leaning, whichever way. One thing that I did want to mention real quick, by the way, back to the Justin Meram thing. If Justin Meram were to leave, and if he were to go to a different club, like, let's just kind of put him in Albert Rusnak's shoes. If he goes to the Sounders tomorrow, this could happen to any player.
Yeah.
Just go about it the correct way with your PR. Before, let all of those things be announced, and, Seattle could do all the hype videos for you. But you know what? How hard is it to go to the media team at the Sounders and say, hey, you know what? Before any of this stuff comes out, can I just do like a quick video, a statement to Real Salt Lake? Could I do like a heartfelt message?
Yeah.
Actually, something that is like heartfelt. Now, to Albert's defense, he did take to Instagram, and he wrote a post, and it has a photo, and he's clapping for the fans. I sent it to you, Josh. Josh, you kind of felt like, hey, somebody handled this for him. It's not authentic.
Yeah, it's very standard.
Hang on, though. But like, whether it's authentic or not, the fact that he put it out, we have to acknowledge that exists. Now, I don't know the timelines.
It was before. Mm-hmm.
But where he did mess up, and I think where the fans took it very personally, is in the comments that were made. And one thing that I don't get is, okay, you work for Real Salt Lake, you're on the same team as him, you're in the front office. Are you not hearing what Albert is saying? The biggest stage, one of the biggest teams in the league, the best fans, you're just turning on the blinders? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
There was something said midweek too. I can't remember the exact thing, but there was another interview. Oh, I must have done something right at RSL in order for a team like Seattle to be interested in me.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's just
the wrong choice of words. And
over and over and over again, right? It wasn't just one tweet or something. It's just like, and you know what? How fun was that atmosphere, Andy?
oh, it was a lot of fun.
Thanks for uniting us, Albert, honestly, because
You couldn't do it while you were a player here. You had to leave and talk some shit to unite the fan base. And I think that says a lot about the kind of captain that you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, we're 1 for 1 on the predictions here of what was going to happen to Rusnák.
Yeah. You know what? And you kind of mentioned it earlier, but, you know, you said if it affected Justin, it affected Albert. It 110% had to affect Albert. I want to say he didn't look involved, but he looked like he did when he played for RSL. But you could just see in his body language that he was not enjoying himself. Yeah, especially when subbed.
And that's probably also why he got that yellow.
Oh yeah, he was frustrated.
Yeah, he was very frustrated.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and listen to this. So Alex Roldan, the captain of the Seattle Sounders, had this to say after the game. And you can't tell me that this doesn't sound like it is directed at Albert. Alex Roldan knows the Sounders have started slowly before and insisted no one is really panicking, but he was still clearly frustrated with the performances. Sometimes it's not easy to play with new players, but there shouldn't be any excuses not to step up. We just came out a little flat. We needed a bit more from certain players and individually as well. I certainly reflect on what I could have done better. Rotation should have been excused, blah, 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 blah.
Calling out new players, that's not good. That's not good.
No, I'm telling you, you know, you got to be careful what you ask for, right? And Albert Rusnák, in my opinion, is not a Seattle Sounders caliber player. I don't think he is. When you put him next to names like Roldan, when you put him next to names to Rui Diaz, Jordan Morris, Albert Rusnák, I'm sorry, is not in the conversation. He might be in the conversation because of the league that they play in, and you know you got DP roles or whatever. But to me, Albert should be on a team, honestly, like Nashville, a team
Who's
like
a good
maybe.
Team, by the way.
Well, I mean, it's
a smaller market, right? Like
it's
Cincinnati.
He's not the face of a team like LAFC, Seattle.
And when we first signed him, we wanted him to be that guy. Yeah. We wanted the team to be around Albert. We said that in so many episodes on the podcast.
Build a squad around
Albert. And looking back on it, that would have probably been a terrible idea.
I mean, it was. I mean, the results that were, you know, that kind of yielded over the few first years with Rusnák didn't really pay off until the Western Conference Final Cup, which, by the way, he didn't play those 2 matches leading up to that, and he should have not played in that final. I'm sorry.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
You guys were on a tear. You guys were on a roll, but you guys put your boy Rusnák in, and it just fell apart. It just looked flat, just like Roldan said. So I'm over the Albert Rusnák stuff. Mitch, like you mentioned, you had asked me before the podcast started, and ask again, dude. What was your question?
Well, on Twitter, you kind of rolled back some of your statements about Albert and what's going on at RSL. So I was just kind of interested in that. I was gonna put you on blast on the text messages, but I wanted to wait for the podcast and ask you.
Yeah, you're welcome to, man. I tweeted something along the effects of like, it was all kind of like fun and games to see Albert booed in the beginning, but then after a while, you just, like a bad fight, you just kind of want to stop it because it's like the dude just gets hit repeatedly in the face over and over and over, and it's like, okay, just call the fight, just stop. I contrary to like what people might believe, like I think people who maybe don't know me or people who only know me from the podcast, like you guys might think I'm an asshole. I'm pretty compassionate. I do care about people's feelings. And, with the whole Rusnák thing, it's like, as much as Josh loved to see it and as much as I loved to see it in the beginning, it did kind of, it hurt. It stung a little bit because I'm like, the dude was here for 5 years and
Right.
living in Salt Lake City for 5 years. That's a big deal. You start to call it home. And then, I kind of put myself in his shoes. Like, you come back and that's the reception you get. It's going to get to you mentally. So I kind of just felt bad for him. And so that's kind of why I kind of stepped on it a little bit. But my very next move is I cut highlights of Albert Rusnák getting booed every time he hit the ball. So that tells you a lot about me.
I definitely was happy he got subbed off, right? Like, it needed to happen just for his own sake.
But this also showed that the fan base can help a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
By actively booing Albert, we took him out of the game.
Oh, we need to do that every game. It used to be a thing at games where you would just pick someone. We would randomly pick someone, and if all of Section 35 started booing them every time they touched the ball, the whole stadium kind of started doing it. No one really knew why, but it was like, all right, let's get to this guy. Let's get in his head, and it's worked. And we need to get back to that.
And to the fans that were not for booing, go to a European game. There's worse things that are being done to players. To be honest, it's just you're just booing people. Yeah. It is not that big of a deal.
Well, and I honestly don't care if you don't want to boo. If you don't want to be involved with the booing, that's fine. Just don't tell me
not to do it.
That I can't be upset at the player or the situation and want to boo myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Again, free will.
Yeah. Any other comments on Rusnák, boys?
No. Glad he didn't score.
And he doesn't look good in green.
No.
Yeah, it's also, just a terrible start, 0-2. I strongly believe that if maybe Rusnák was on the team still, we'd probably be 0-2 right now.
We looked better without him. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Cool. Well, hey, guys, a lot of cool things happening at the stadium. Real quick, I do want to give credit where credit is due. New ownership group, new, creative thinking, breathing. I know, Mitch, that you weren't there, but you could totally tell there was, a whole different atmosphere.
You could actually tell that on TV.
Yeah, prior to the game, there's new signage up. There's a lot more Riot, Believe, Real Salt Lake. This is the first time that I've seen it where it's always felt like Real Salt Lake Stadium, but these little upgrades, just putting banners on rafters and signage everywhere, painting of murals everywhere. This was the first. It just felt like it was a furnished Rio Tinto is what it felt like.
Did you notice the lights under the covering of the second tier at the beginning of the game?
No, I did not.
It was the whole thing lit up, and it was red, blue, red, blue, red, blue all the way across, and it was flash. It was so cool, man.
That's pretty dope.
You know how our ex-owner, not gonna name his name, but he always told everybody, "Yeah, I'm gonna put TVs in the bathroom." And
that was his big thing too.
Right?
We couldn't even get him to
and
do
now
that.
you walk into the tunnel, and it's covered in TVs, the whole tunnel.
Well, and it's
lit up with lights.
Lit up with red, yeah. It's so cool, man.
It's cool. Doing that, it's not expensive. It's easy to do. Why has it never been done before? Why you don't make the tunnel intimidating to the other team?
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe put some cool murals on there too. Feyenoord has that. Their tunnel into the stadium, it is kind of intimidating.
I think they were playing highlights on those TVs of the last win over Seattle.
That's incredible.
See?
It was. I'm pretty sure
That's
it was
trolling right there.
Yeah, that's good.
So good idea on who's ever played that fell on, but also. Go ahead. No,
so you guys might have not watched it because you guys were at the stadium, but the interview Dunny did with the owners was amazing. Yeah. If you guys get a chance to watch it back, great. It is so good. These guys are really, really in it for the club and to make the team better. And it's awesome to hear this.
Yeah,
they're coherent too. They're actually articulate and they know how to talk normal. And it's great. I'm really excited to be behind RSL and to see this team grow again.
Yeah, another shout out to a lot more Spanish content. There were a few new faces on the Jumbotron that were kind of going around and actively interviewing people who spoke English, Spanish. They rolled some video of an interview with Marcelo Silva, translated the answers. Basically, I mean, dude, this is the first time that leading up to the match, the pre-match, literally actually felt like a party. It was a really cool atmosphere.
That's cool.
So you guys are doing really, really good. And I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to give kudos to Real Salt Lake for doing that. So really, really cool, really exciting stuff. Hopefully it just continues and it goes along. The smoke, even like the entrance with like all the pyro stuff. Really, really cool way just to get the fans engaged and just get everybody excited. The flags were awesome. We heard some were stolen, like we also predicted. If you stole a flag, just try to be a better human.
Or at least just bring it
Don't
back
ruin
to the
it
game
for
with you.
everybody.
Yeah.
Bring it back next game. I
It's
promise
like those
you.
people. It's like those people that steal the crossing.
Yeah, the orange
Those
ones.
orange flags at the crossing. in
Yeah,
Salt
what are you
Lake.
gonna do with it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anyways, really, really cool. But let's talk about the match. So, we asked, who the players of the match were, and obviously a lot of people, voted for Bobby Wood, which I think is going to happen regardless. I mean, you're always going to vote for the goal scorer, but I just want to come out and say that Pablo Ruiz was my man of the match.
That's interesting to me
That's very interesting.
because he missed 2 wide open shots on goal.
Sitters, bro. Sitters.
Like
So
you could have.
I'm kidding. I'm trolling.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got us.
Okay.
You got us.
Pablo Ruiz, I love you, man, but let's emphasize that and practice a little bit more.
Knee over the ball.
Yeah.
Lean forward. Lean forward.
Lean forward. knee over the ball.
The header though, can you really blame him for the header?
No.
I mean, that's a tough one.
That's
a tough one.
Sorry.
It was mainly the shot. That
Yeah, the
wide
shot.
open shot.
Yeah.
That, oof.
Yeah. So I'll ask you guys. Obviously, the rain delay happens, or the hail delay, snow delay, whatever happens. I mean, there were some really, really good moments though in the first half.
Yeah.
And the person that I want to talk about that stood out to me a whole lot was Brody.
Mm-hmm.
Man of the match in my book. Man of the match in my book.
Tell us why, man.
He does not stop running. He is always involved. He's going forward just as well as he goes backwards. It is amazing. I truly think that Brody's going, if he doesn't get hurt, for God's sake, don't get hurt this season. But I think this is going to be a breakout season for Brody.
What do you think about old Tate Schmidt and Eric Holt? Because we've had a lot of hate for those two. But
Stepped
these
it
last
up.
2 matches, man, are we
Yeah.
seeing a coming out party for them, or is this a blip?
I hope so. I'm not going to get my hopes up too soon because things can always change.
Mm-hmm.
Once Herrera comes back, those
Right, minutes are gone, right?
minutes are gone. We're going to see him less probably. I do want to see this continuously going up, of course. I want to see Holt do better. I want to see Schmidt do better because they deserve it.
Agreed.
Well, one point to that too is, okay, we have a lot of like fillers kind of covering for, the main players, and even on the goalkeeper side, that's, it's not excluded, right? Like you've got McMath stepping in for Ochoa.
Who I again have to, eat a little bit of crow. He had a great
saves.
match. Yeah.
Great saves.
Dude, he had, there's one amazing save. It was in the video that we shared from the RSL show today, where he like literally just kind of dives off to the side or falls to he just basically falls out and just kind of puts his left palm out and boom,
Yeah.
just stops that ball
It
going
was
in.
on
That big
a
old bear
Freddie
paw.
Montero shot, yeah.
Freddie Montero. Okay, Freddie. I cannot believe that he's
Still
Freddie
playing.
Montero, man. That's like what 2011, 2012 vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him for being back on Seattle Sounders. I don't get that, but that's really, really cool of him. Yeah. So I mean, just like we're seeing a lot of breakout performances from lineups that. I think that when we see them or when they roll out, we get really confused by, Damir Krylak not playing. Not going to lie, like that was pretty scary. Just to see almost like the same lineup as we had in Houston. And I don't know. Have you guys heard anything about like the Kryluk situation or why he's not playing?
No, but I will mention, and I don't like mentioning this, but potentially not having Kryluk for that match really opened up the space for Bobby Wood going forward. Just saying.
So, I mean, what are you trying?
I'm just saying maybe we have to change the way we play a little bit, you know?
I see. I'm trying to. I'm
torn
here.
on that one, man.
Me too.
I'm torn on that.
I'm very torn. I'm just saying it was such a good performance. Obviously, you need Demir starting, but do you sit him back a little deeper? You know, it was just it seemed like we were way more open and getting forward a lot quicker in more dangerous spaces when you didn't have Bobby and Demir kind of on top of each other.
Sure.
So maybe there's just an adjustment to maybe there, or maybe I just misread the whole game. Either are possible.
I don't know. It's just interesting, right? It's 2 matches in. We've got 1 win, 1 draw. Not trying to get too ahead of ourselves, but you know, with all the results that were, you know, coming out of MLS over the weekend, sitting 5th in Western Conference right now. I know that doesn't mean a lot just after 2 matches, but comparing. I mean, it's going to be kind of like, I feel like it's going to be like a wacky season. You know, the Sounders off to an 0-2 start is kind of weird for me.
They'll storm back. They'll be back. It's kind of normal for Seattle. They kind of start slow, and then, oh my God, they're the supporter shield champions. There we go again.
Yeah. So they'll make the playoffs no matter what. So that weather delay, I got a question for you guys.
All right.
First of all, I could have made the first half if I left here at 4 p.m. in Portland, got on a plane. I could have still made the first half. Okay?
Yep.
Let me just put that in perspective, how long that delay was.
Yeah.
Do you guys think, as being a home team and playing at home, when there's a weather delay, that you automatically get an advantage? Because you got your dressing room, you got your facilities that are open to you. You're not going to let your away team hop on your bikes or whatever you got at the stadium to stay warm. You know, like, do you think that we need more weather delays, pretty much?
No, because it was absolutely miserable.
It did look miserable.
Oh, my God. But I'm sure it does help, you know, to have your own stuff, right? The away locker room, I haven't been in it in a while, so I don't know what it's set up like. But, you know, you're in an unfamiliar stadium, essentially. You know, you're not home. You probably just want to get home. You're cold. You're being booed. You know, it's totally an advantage.
Yeah, it's, you know, Bobby Wood said that in the post presser. You know, he was asked like, "Hey, what do you guys do during these weather delays?" And it was just that, exactly what you mentioned: hopping on bikes, getting massages, just dudes trying to stay warm. So yeah, I definitely think that it's an advantage. I think. I told Josh this when I saw him at the stadium. I just said, hey, it could go either way, because Sounders can go in, kind of regroup, talk about what they're seeing, and come out more dangerous. But you know, right off the second half, Bobby Wood gets his goal that he fights for, doesn't go down, gets his left foot on it, and puts us up 1-0. And I think that, you know, I don't think it's a direct correlation of a weather delay, but in some ways, yeah, I could see it as a benefit, right? Like, we're obviously playing at home. These guys know what it's like. And I think just to have like your equipment and your staff just prepped to essentially service you is going to be key.
I wonder if Schmetzer left the adjustments up to Freddie.
If we want to talk about who is invisible, like, dude, I didn't even see Freddie Juarez once. I think I saw him one time, but it must have been his spirit, dude, because after that I didn't see him at all.
I saw him setting up cones before the weather delay was over.
I'm sure Freddie's just happy to like have that attention off of him.
Right? He's like, oh, Albert, this is all on you now. But you know what? Props to Albert. At least he was brave enough to face us his first time back, unlike Freddie, who sat in the box.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything else that we want to cover on this match?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the high press. I know Pablo's talked about playing it, you know, prior to the season starting. We saw him kind of try it against Houston. You know, tried a little bit last year, but they just weren't quite getting there, right? Like, if you're going to play a high press, you have to be all over the opposing player the second they touch the ball, the second the ball gets played to another player. You have to be in their face constantly. which is extremely hard to do, right? It takes a lot of energy, a lot of focus. But I think this is the first time we can genuinely say we saw RSL play an extremely high press. I mean, you saw your center back snuffing out passes. You saw Bobby Wood getting all the way back defensively, tracking runners. So it was just a huge team effort. And if RSL can play like that, high press every game, they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting those performances, right?
The scary thing with the high presses to me is, though, like, one little mistake or you being caught off guard for a second.
It's over. Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to recover. Well, Justin Glad is pretty fast, but I don't think Silva would be able to recover.
No. Herrera can.
Herrera can, yeah.
But still, that's leaving you open for red cards, right? Like, but if it's going to work and we're going to play it occasionally, it needs to be like it was against Seattle.
What do you guys think of Marcelo Silva wearing the captain's armband?
I loved it.
Yeah, it did fine.
It's great, yeah.
Yeah, it did great.
Looks a lot better on him than it did on Albert.
Man, you guys are brutal. You know, one thing that I didn't really see, and it could have just been my angle because I was shooting the game, I didn't see, like, the long ball that we used to do all the time.
No, there was not a lot of long ball.
I saw it, like, you know, basically coming, you know, it would, you know, the keeper would play it out, and then it'd be basically played up to the side over to Brody, or just on the opposite side. Yeah, and then they'd, like, whip the ball inside, or...
And then back outside, and then you're off. Yeah, weird, right?
So, I feel like it created more chances, and it honestly did, man. Like, I felt like, you know, Bobby Wood was in my face the whole time. Pablo Ruiz was there, too.
Chang.
Michael Chang. Dude, Chang is just... When he gets his goal, I think it's just going to be one of those, you know, get a goal and then boom, it's just kind of off to the races with him.
I hope so.
Just seeing really good quality play of, you know, from Real Salt Lake. It's like a team that I don't know what it's reminiscent of, because it's just good to know that we have this depth and we were able to get a win over Seattle with not the most ideal startup line.
Sure, and they didn't have... I mean, they rotated too, but they had killers on the field, right?
Yeah. So it's just reassuring, and then just, you know, you pile on the new ownership to that. You pile on just basically all of the good vibes that you're, you know, getting from the fan base. I mean, it's just, collectively, it's just very, very exciting, and I'm excited, man. I'm just excited. That's all I could say.
Same. Mitch, what did you think about Scott Caldwell?
You know,
because I am impressed.
He is silent but deadly.
Yes, that's the exact kind of midfielder you need in the system we're playing, right? You didn't see this out of Beasler. You see it out of Everton sometimes, but I think Everton's better off going forward a little bit and getting crazy. But this is very Kyle Beckerman-esque, where they just control the game with no one noticing it.
Yeah.
And it's brought such like a calm presence, especially in transition play, I've noticed, for RSL. It's just nice to see. We've missed it. And
every time he got the ball, I was like, who is this number 12? Who?
Yeah.
Like, he just showed up. Did we just sub him on? And then it's like, oh no, it's Caldwell. And
he's just been doing his thing all game.
Yeah.
Clean game, not a lot of mistakes, you know, just playing the thing.
I want RSL to do a little interview with him and, like, get to know him a little bit better.
How about the RSL show does a little interview with Scott Caldwell?
Yeah,
We'd probably get it out like days before RSL.
Hey Trey, hit us up.
All right. So we asked for your Twitter questions.
Sorry, I got one more thing. Sorry, I just want to highlight something. Cordova.
Oh, dude, he almost had that goal.
That man is fast. Oof. I don't think people realize how fast this dude is.
Dude's quick.
Like, he had one sprint, and I was like, yo, on the ball?
And he's built like an absolute linebacker, too, man. Like,
yeah. So
if you would have scored that, dude, I would have lost my mind. Also,
going into this game with, like, the lineup, I was not expecting much. And I got way more than I thought I was going to get.
Yeah, it was very entertaining.
It was cool. It was a fun game. I had fun watching this game.
Yeah, it was really cool. Shout out to the supporters, by the way. I saw videos of, like, La Barra and some people coming up from the tailgate with all the smoke. And, dude, you guys looked amazing. I wish I was there with my camera. That would have been such cool.
Smith and Blitzer were in there, apparently.
That's awesome, dude.
So,
that's such a good way to ring it in.
I hope it continues. I hope it wasn't a one-off, right?
Same.
DLH could have attempted that, and like nobody would have, like, they would have been like, "No, we're staying here till you get out of the shot. We're not walking up with you." Cool. Hey, with the tailgate was cool. We'll shout him out. We know we have a fierce rivalry with the Soapbox, but I will say I'll give them credit on something cool. Lucas Muller was taking photos in the tailgate of fans. Really cool stuff. So Soapbox, you guys get some credit too. Everybody at the Soapbox except for guy does nothing. Okay. All right, let's talk about a few tweets here that we got from the RSL Show Twitter account.
You better leave that in, dude. You better leave that in.
Oh, I'm leaving it in, dude. That guy does nothing. That guy does nothing.
Oh, just complain.
Yeah. All
right.
Anyway. All right, so first tweet we got from @RipDingo, Rodrigo. Says, whatever Pablo is doing in the locker room, morale-wise, is 1,000% working. I haven't seen a B squad perform like that since Christ.
Why is Rodrigo being positive?
Yeah,
it's really weird,
too.
isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm confused, really honestly. Weird. But I agree, really Rodrigo.
Weird. Yeah. Good take, Rodrigo. Missing you at the games, by the way, buddy.
I wonder what he's doing with the team. Because every year that when we have a new coach, it's always at 10,
Dude,
15
Pablo,
games, just bad. But
I've been around Pablo a few times. Sorry to cut you off. I've been around Pablo a few times to know that he's a genuine dude.
Yeah.
Who cares, who knows soccer, bilingual. But I think the edge that he has, maybe over, Freddie, is really motivating these guys to give it their all. Like, Pablo, in any interview that we've done, like, whether it's press or RSL Show, that guy's got a heart. Like, he's got a heart for the game. He understands where the players are coming from, how to motivate each single player and make it work for the system.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference, man. I think that people are really, really going to bat for Freddie. Like, they liked, for Pablo.
Yeah.
They liked Freddie, right? Like, they liked Freddie, but I feel like these guys love Pablo.
Yep.
I feel like Freddie was just for us, Freddie was such a breath of fresh air after Mike Pecky.
Mm-hmm.
Where he had the arrogance and just like always like very aggressive, and then Freddie was more calm and like talked more about stuff, was more open, and I feel like Pablo is like a good mixture of both Mike and Freddie.
Yep.
Where he has that intensity of like I want to win, and I'm feisty to get that win, but I'm also nice enough to like be open about what I'm doing and let my players know what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a great human, dude. I've met him a few times. I've had the pleasure to be in the same room with him on these long-form interviews that we do, like that Tom Hackett has done before.
Oh, that one was... dude, I listened to that one 3 times.
Yeah, it's
like,
on YouTube, RSL Show.
Is so good.
Yeah, go listen to it. I mean, it'll give you such a good idea.
When I heard that interview, I was like, yes, I'm 100% behind this coach.
Exactly. So can you imagine being a player? Like, I mean, you would, you'd put your heart and soul into the field. All right, Soccer Amaretto Lime says Eric Holt and Tate Schmidt are going to have breakout years. Cool, dude. We said it on the show earlier. Nice job. Both have looked great in the first 2 games. We agree. Soccer Prime says, from your lips to our ears, talk about shocking take, but maybe. No, we agree. We agree with Soccer Amaretto Lime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Less Than Myself says, hot take, we're going to have 3 double-digit goal scorers this season. Bobby, Sava, and Cordova.
Well, we need Sava first at the club.
Yeah. And
watch him come in the summer, though, and just bang 10 in real quick.
That'd be sick, dude. Yeah.
I would love it.
That'd be amazing. If that ever happens, that would be amazing. And we definitely would win like a supporter shield for sure. Let's see. Garlic says, any updates on injuries and duration? How's the Rusnák reunion for those of us out of state? Garlic, by now you know what the Rusnák, how the situation went down. But yeah, any updates on injuries? Like anything? Have you guys heard anything?
I haven't
heard anything.
All quiet.
I pulled up the emails that we get, looked through it, nothing. like, come on, guys, give us some days. Let us just know what the injury is, how long it takes. Done. Like, us trying to guess when people are coming back, it's not working.
Yeah,
just be open.
Maybe there's a new HIPAA rule we don't know about.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we got like 3 more minutes. I got to get back here, but a few things here. So, MedFizz10 wrote, recognizing Rusnák was the right thing to do. Would have been easier if it was later in the year. Won't be the only former player recognition this year. Players notice. That matters. Okay, from our understanding, just to put some context on this, I think that Real Salt Lake backtracked on the way that they were going to quote-unquote honor Rusnák. The article that Tom had put out, who is, by the way, in my opinion, one of the best RSL content out there. Dude has connections, has a great relationship with the club. They give him information. In the article, he wrote that there was going to be a framed jersey for Rusnák and a highlight video of Rusnák that was going to happen during the match. When it was going to happen, wasn't too sure, but we all expected it to happen prior to the match, right? Mm-hmm. All we saw was a literal flash of a thank you Rusnák still image for what, 10 seconds, Josh?
I didn't even see it.
And then it went away. So I think that the club probably gauged the response of the minority Twitter hardcore RSL fans and backtracked. But I mean, that should have, I don't know. There should have been a meeting around that. It would have been so easy to identify that.
Yeah,
that just wasn't the right move.
I sometimes wonder if the front office needs to run stuff by fans sometimes, or a group of people that know the fan base pretty well and know how the fans react before these kind of things get put out in the world.
Yeah,
because I could have told you this from the first minute. If anybody came up to me and was like, "Hey, we're gonna honor Albert," I'd be like, "Nah, don't do that.
It's not gonna go well." Yeah,
it's not gonna go well.
And I think they're making moves now. They hired Zach Barnes to be
a liaison,
a liaison concierge for fans. And I know that Zach, I've only met Zach a handful of times, but Zach is like one of those fans that will stick true to basically representing the fan base in the best way possible. And I really don't think he's going to be someone to quote unquote like sell out and
he's a good dude.
Be like, club first, or he'll be fans first. So great hiring decision by them.
So to back to that other question, yes, we are gonna recognize other players, and that's totally fine. They haven't pissed us off, right? Like, no one else is gonna get booed. Honestly, I would be shocked if they do. And when they say players notice, sure, they notice that someone's getting booed, but they're also noticing that the fan base is passionate. It's not all a bad thing to boo another player. It's showing your passion. It's showing you care. So, to think that someone's not going to sign for RSL because Albert Rusnák got booed, I have seen that take, is completely asinine.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Stop with that.
That is nonsense. Don't ever say that ever again.
Yep.
Okay, jeez, guys. All right. This one comes from our junior producer, Isaac Munoz. He asks, I know. He asks, what needs to be accomplished for this season to be a success for what you guys are individually looking for? Individual answers much appreciated. Please don't say winning MLS Cup because obviously. So let's wrap it up with this, guys.
Okay.
We got to be real quick. So, Mitch, what would you consider?
Josh goes first.
Josh, what would you consider a successful season, Josh?
I would say finishing the year with a couple guys with multiple goals, decent goal scored to goal conceded ratio. And I would say not just making the playoffs, but making a very strong position in the playoffs, like 1 through 3, 4 at the weakest. None of this limping into the playoff for me. So I think if we get in comfortably, then I'll be pretty happy with the season. That is to say, if some signings happen in the summer, that could all change, right? But as of now, I want to see a strong push to finish, in a decent playoff position, not the last playoff position.
Cool.
I'm the same way. I want to top 4 and nothing less.
Yeah, I have expectations, not just limping into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mine is from like a different spot. It's probably, in a playoff spot, obviously is going to earn respect throughout the league. But what I would like to see is having a team that's so strong and appealing and diverse, like, which I really, really think like we've really achieved that already, with the signings that we've made. I want this team to have the respect of the league, so that the league is paying more attention, more emphasis on Real Salt Lake. I think that the ownership group is going to strive for that, and I think that the kind of content that Real Salt Lake puts out too is collectively. I just want to see Real Salt Lake kind of step up from like that forgotten market team and just kind of maybe just make a small little push. Where the team is so good and the ownership is so good, the fan engagement is so good, the content is so good that Major League Soccer cannot continue to ignore Real Salt Lake.
That
you
one
want
is
us to
part
make
of my,
so much noise that you can't be ignored.
Yeah, and that part is part of my 5-year plan.
There it is. Very cool. Well, guys, we bring you another awesome RSL show from the KSL Sports. Well, I'm in the KSL Sports studio. You two fellas are at home. Thanks, guys, for joining. All of the listeners, all of the fans. If you guys went out to the game, however you're supporting Real Salt Lake, you guys are just badass. Pat yourself on the shoulders. We love all the engagement on social media.
Yeah.
And again, thanks to KSL Sports and One Wire Fiber, our sponsor, which One Wire Fiber, they're doing cool things, buying tickets at the Crayola Corner for underprivileged kids and donating to a lot of cool programs, I guess. Yeah. But anyway.
All very good.
Anyways, all right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you next week, and we will be back with a match preview for Real Salt Lake's next match.
Sweet. So,